opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395 1450. That's 395 1450. And now, from DeBrine Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
And good morning, everyone. What a lovely day. But remember, if you hear thunder, then you're close enough that you can be hit. So do be careful when you're outside today. It is a humid day out there. So do be careful when you are outside. Don't overexert yourself. That's not a good thing. And remember, this is the last day of the heat wave. Tomorrow it's going to be much better. I listened to the weather. It sounds so much better than it is today. So, hey, just, one more day. But I'll tell you, my tomatoes and peppers are growing like I have never seen them grow before. My cherry tomatoes are like 5 feet tall right now. And they were just little teeny tiny plants when I put them in. And I did not put them in until after Memorial Day. So they've grown quite a bit. And my pepper plants are huge. And I was just reading you should really chop off the tops of your pepper plants early in the season so they get bushier and they grow more. But I think we might be past that point, at least on my pepper plants, because they're like 2 feet tall. They might be a little bit too tall for me to start chopping off the top. I don't think they'd ever catch up again. But I'll have to remember that for next year to chop off the top of my pepper plants to get them bushier. So I get a better result with especially on your sweet peppers. My hot peppers probably don't need it, but my sweet peppers probably might do it. Something for me to remember to remind you early next year. Now, phone lines are open. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. 616-395-1450 is the number to call if you got any questions about what you need to do, especially in this heat. But just remember, your garden needs water, especially with this kind of heat and especially when the sun is out. When it's overcast, it's a little harder to figure out how much water you need. But you got to go out there either with a moisture meter or your trusty moisture meter you carry with you all the time. Your index finger, stick it down in the ground. If it's wet, you don't need to water. If it's dry, you need to get water out there ASAP. If you have got some things on your patio in pots, and I do have two tomatoes on my patio in pots right now, and they need to be watered a lot more than the ones that are in the garden in the ground. So keep that in mind. Keep those tomatoes watered. And when you're watering, make sure you keep a constant soil moisture. Mulch around your tomatoes and your peppers would be best so it doesn't get really dry and really wet and really dry and really wet, because that's when calcium can't get up into the plant. And if calcium can't get up into the plant, then we get blossom end rot. So make sure we've got an even soil moisture, and make sure you put down some calcium around your tomatoes and your peppers and your eggplant and even your squash. They all get blossom end rot, and that's just a lack of calcium. You can still eat the rest of the plant. You just can't eat that rotten bottom part of it. But it's best just to avoid that completely. So make sure it gets some calcium. I just put some more tomato tone around my peppers and my tomatoes. It has calcium in it, and I actually think the Miracle Grow for tomatoes has calcium in it also. That's a water soluble one that you just water on the tomatoes. So just look for something that is specifically meant for tomatoes, or if it's an all-purpose vegetable, that it does have calcium in it. That always helps your tomatoes and your peppers, etc., so you don't get blossom end rot. And if you've never had it before, you will go out there and they will all look fine. All of your tomatoes will look big and beautiful and bright, and you'll go to pick one and you take a look at the bottom and it looks horrible. That's blossom end rot. And it's usually just the first, 4 or 5 tomatoes that come on. You can eat the tops again, but why waste all that? So let's get that calcium out there, get them fertilized. They're growing like weeds, so let's keep them fertilized. The hot weather is putting a lot of stress on our cool season grasses. So make sure you keep the mower set at a um, higher length than you normally would. The higher the lawn, the more it prevents any water that you put on it from evaporating or any dew or whatever. It takes a long time for it to get up. Say if it's 3 inches long rather than 2 inches long, that water can evaporate very quickly. So get it 3 inches at the very least, and maybe even a little taller this time of year when it's hot out to avoid that stress from water. And make sure you water deeply during the wee hours of the morning so it doesn't evaporate. That works the best. Now I want you also this week, and I was out there with my string and my twine and my scissors, tying up vines and staking up tall plants this week. Again, I had to do my cherry tomato, which I didn't think was going to get as tall as I was. But it looks like that's what it's trying to do. So I had to get a bigger cage. I had to redo that. I had to stake up a couple of my Romas, which were trying to roam around the garden rather than be upright. And so I could pick them later on. So I did a lot of tying up. I also tied up some of my gladiolas, and I tied up a dahlia that was kind of droopy. So everything is on sticks and cages and ties and all kinds of fun stuff around my house. So nothing's going to fall over. And with this wind, I see it's picking up again this morning. That does a lot of damage when they keep blowing over your plants. So they're staked up well, they can't blow over, and you get less damage. So that is a wonderful idea. Now, if you've got, and I've got a lot of people in my neighborhood that put a pot of plants right out, like in front of the garage door or whatever, right on the hot concrete or on the hot pavement. You can prevent hot feet. It's called, where the pavement will transfer heat up into your plant, and it will actually kill the roots of your plant because it's so hot. So just take a board at least an inch wide and just put that underneath your pot. So your pot is not sitting directly on the pavement or the concrete. And that will really prevent that hot feet from happening. So you won't lose your plant halfway during the summer. So it's as easy as that. Just that little board to prevent hot feet. Who knew? You're going to have to thin your grapes if you've got grape plants. The clusters for, you want to get, you'd want to get more berries or grapes, but you want to have them big. You don't want to have little tiny grapes because you've got too many. So you might want to thin them out if you've got too many. Trim off your dead flowers from rose bushes to keep them blooming throughout the summer. And the roses will also benefit right now from a deep watering and a feeding, and maybe putting on some Bio-Advanced 3-in-1 to prevent diseases, mites, and insects. I do that once a month on my roses, and on a lot of my flowers I spray it. I just write on the bottle what day I've sprayed it. So then I know in a month that I have to respray it, and I just keep it in the garage where I can see it, where I can see the writing, because otherwise I would forget, and it would be 3 months later, and I'd be, oh, I'd really have to do that. Oh, all of my things are dead. That's why, because I didn't keep spraying it. So mites seem to be a huge problem right now, and we've had a lot of people bringing in mite problems on their bushes. On their flowers. I've never seen so many white mites. We've had red ones, we've had dark ones, we've had kind of tan ones. They're everywhere. So a regular insecticide is not going to work on mites. You need something that's called a miticide, which gets rid of mites. So make sure it is on the label that it will kill mites. You need to look for that specifically because not everything does kill mites. That's the big thing. And when you're spraying your plants for insects, make sure A, you've got the right insecticide for the job, and B, you're going to spray early in the morning on a very calm day with no wind. And 3, you're going to spray the leaves only. You're not going to spray on the flowers. You spray on the flowers, that's where the bees and the butterflies land, and then they get insecticide on them. So we avoid the flowers at all costs. The insects are basically eating the leaves anyway. Spray the leaves. Again, still morning. Remember, today's wonderful bottles right now have the micro encapsulated spray that's really, really fine. And I'll tell you, even with a little tiny bit of wind and you're spraying and you think you're just spraying on the leaves of one plant, it's probably carrying, 25, 30 feet away. So do be careful when you're spraying. A very still day, no wind, early morning or in the evening when the bees are gone, and then spray the foliage only. And remember, I don't think there's too much, maybe BT, but if you spray it directly on a bee, you'd probably kill it anyway. Almost everything kills bees. So do be really, really careful with what you use, even if it's organic, even if it's natural, it can kill bees. They're very easy to kill. Be careful with it. And don't just kill, I don't like this bee, those little sweat bees or whatever. They do a part in pollinating. I hate to say that, but they do a part. So don't be in such a hurry to kill, and especially the ground bees. The ground bees also pollinate your pumpkins and your squash. So we actually need those things. They're native plants, so we need our native bees. So don't be, if you see, a solitary bee come out of a hole, don't be in a hurry to kill that. That's a very vital part of pollination. So we don't do that. Okay, the holes that have all the hornets in it, those you want to kill. But the ones the solitary, no, you don't want it. The solitary bees won't hurt you. They just want to do their thing, and that's it. And if you come by that great big wasp, 2.5 inches long, it's not a murder hornet. It's a cicada killing wasp. It is normal around here. And what it does is it digs a hole in the ground, lays an egg, and then comes out and then finds a cicada, kills it, and then puts it down in the hole. So when the egg hatches, it has something to eat. So it does a job for us. It does not hurt you. It flies really slow, and it's really kind of terrifying to see this huge wasp, but it really doesn't have a stinger on it. It won't hurt you. And I cannot tell you how many people have brought those in, have caught them and brought them into DeBrine's, wanting us to identify them as murder hornets, and they aren't. They're just cicada killing wasps. They're very normal around here in Michigan, and we like those guys. We don't like those hornets that you bring in. Don't bring those. And hornets usually live in a colony, and they'll sting you just because they can. They're not very nice. So do be careful around a nest of hornets. I mean, if it's by your back door, you might want to get a professional to come in and get rid of it. Otherwise, use a different door. Once the season's ended, they never come back to the same nest anyway. So you don't have to worry about that. But they are nasty little things. Be very careful when you get paper wasps, etc. You can take the wasp and hornet spray and just spray, usually 2 cans. Start with one hole and then take another can and go to another hole. So you got double fisted there. You can usually get all of those out with no problem and kill all of those, and then get rid of the nest. That's usually not a problem. They usually go in under your eaves or whatever. They like to go under my railing of my deck. And you kind of wonder, where are all those wasps going? And then you kind of have to look down and, oh, yeah, there they are. But wasp and hornet spray will take care of those. No problem at all. So do know how to identify what is what you can take care of, what you really probably shouldn't do. You should never, ever, ever go up on a ladder with cans of wasp and hornet spray to try get a hornet's nest out of a tree. There is no way, you have no way to get out of there in time unless you want to get stung repeatedly. So don't go up off the ground ever to spray a hornet or a wasp nest. Never, ever, ever. Um, you and always know your way out. Where are you going to go to get to safety the quickest? Always know that route. And going down a ladder and out is not one of them. You'll never outrun a hornet. So know how you can get out quickly. Use a can of spray or whatever that's going to go at least 30 feet and you can spray in there. But never, ever, ever, please tell me you'll never go up on a ladder, and make sure that you have long sleeves and long pants and shoes on. You don't need to be stung. Maybe even a hat might even be best, because they will grab you and they will, oh, they're horrible. You won't just get one, you'll get multiples. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to get rid of a hornet nest. And, you know, sometimes it's best to get a professional in to do it. They know how to do it correctly, and they have the big guns. You don't have the big guns as far as insecticides. So, yeah, get that done. And now, just kind of wandering around here of all the things you need to do. Your chrysanthemums, if they've got blossoms on them right now, cut them back or pinch them back. We don't want them blossoming too early. We want them blossoming in the fall. So until July 4, you can cut off the blossoms on your chrysanthemum plants. So keep doing that and keep deadheading your flowers. The more you deadhead your flowers, the more flowers you'll get. It's as easy as that. Once a flower dies, pick it off there and you'll get more. I know some things get rid of their own, shed their own flowers. I just like to go out every morning when I'm watering, take a look at all the plants. Oh, this one's gone. Just pull off the dead stuff. Some days it's a lot. Some days it's hardly anything. But that's fun, and you get kind of look at the plants, see if there's anything happening there. This hot, humid weather also brings out a lot of aphids. So let's keep an eye out for aphids. They suck all the juice right out of your plant, and the leaves kind of pucker up. And I get them on my petunias so bad every year. You can get them off by just spraying it with water hard. That works. You can spray. There are sprays out there. Pyrethrins work on that. The cyphlothrin will work on that also. You don't need to get out the big guns for aphids. They're little tiny things. They don't have a shell on them, so they're easy enough to kill. But you do have to remember, once you've killed them all and you think, they're all off my flowers now, pick off the flowers that they were on, because they're going to look horrible. And then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden your flowers are just infested again. It's because the eggs will hatch in 2 weeks. And then it's like you get even more of them. So, and it's hard to find their egg masses, but just be aware that if you kill a bunch of aphids, within 2 weeks, you're going to have more unless you keep looking out and watching for that. That's a big thing in the summer, this time of year when it's hot and humid. Also, hot and humid weather brings out all of the fungal diseases. I can just imagine there's probably a lot of, powdery mildew out there right now. If you get if you have a plant that, like your zinnias, that always get powdery mildew every year, you don't want that to happen. Whole milk mixed with water, half and half. You can spray your flowers, and it should prevent the powdery mildew from happening. Or you can use a fungicide if you like. Either one, it works fine. just remember the hot, humid weather can bring that stuff about. Also, can bring about a lot of lawn fungal diseases. So, keep your lawn healthy by keeping it watered, keeping it mowed long, a taller height, and you should have a good luck with that. And your any standing water in your backyard, and this is even your bird bath, you need to add the BT dunks into it, mosquito dunks. They look like little donuts. And for a small bird bath, you just break off a chunk and put it in there. And it's Bacillus thuringiensis, which is BT, which actually will kill the mosquito larvae that get laid in there. So then you don't have to worry about mosquitoes getting hatching out of that water. So if you've got a low spot in your yard and it's filled with water, throw in some mosquito dunks. We have them over at DeBrine's. We've also got like a little can of little sprinkles of the BT that you can use in the standing water too. Works extremely well. If you've got a small pond, or if you've got a little, like my sister's got this decorative pond, she puts them in there. So we have to do that. Are you telling me I have to break? Okay, well, I will stop talking right now and we will go to this message.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
All right, we've been talking about all the things that we need to do outside, but maybe not on a day where there's thunder and lightning involved. But hey, anytime now, and do it. Make sure you don't get overstressed outside. Really easy to do. It's really hot and humid out there, especially this morning. It's terrible out there. I had a problem breathing outside this morning, but hey, that's not unusual for me right now. So do be careful when you're outside. If you hear thunder, then you're close enough to be hit. So do take shelter. I'll give you permission to quit gardening till maybe tomorrow when it's a little bit nicer outside and a little bit cooler. Tomorrow afternoon might be a great time to do that. Okay, what else is going on? Slugs are active right now. A lot of people are coming up with holes in their hostas, and they don't see anybody doing it. Oh, we do have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You are on the Garden Show.
Hi, Jan. I'm calling with a question about, I think it's Asiatic garden beetles. I'm getting all kinds of holes in my cabbage and in my broccoli, and they even eat holes or eat up the little tiny beans that are coming up.
Oh my
gosh. Anything I can do?
Yes, there is. Cyflurthrin would help with that. It is in a garden spray that we have at DeBrine's, and I would definitely spray your stuff with that. Those little guys, they take refuge in the dirt during the day, so you never see them. You just see the holes. So, yeah.
Now, so if you spray that on, and it dries up, will it still kill them if they come in the nighttime?
Yes, it will.
Okay, yeah, I tried to dig around in the dirt to see if maybe I could see a few, but I did. Well, I went out there when it was dark once, and I saw two of them on the porch close by. So I'm sure that's what it is. I've never had this happen before. Never.
Well,
they would eat cabbage. They'd eat the leaf. Like some of the leaves are like half the leaf is gone.
They can do such a good job of eating and such a huge amount for such a little tiny beetle.
I know.
Even the Japanese, beetle doesn't eat that much. I mean, they eat like 5 times their diameter every day. So,
oh brother.
Yeah, I've seen them at the cemetery in the cemetery liners. A geranium just reduced down to just a stem overnight.
It's depressing. Are there more this year, you think, than usual?
Well, I think they've hatched out earlier because of the warmer weather.
I see.
And I think that's the problem. I think they're all hatching at once.
Oh, so yeah, because it's really depressing. So it's called Cyruthathin?
Cyflurthrin, and it's in the vegetable spray that we have at DeBrine's. So, yep, you bet.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate all your help.
Yep, not a problem. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. The grubs with the warmer weather, all of a sudden the soil temperatures are spiking up. They finally gotten over the 60-degree mark. So they are turning into beetles, and all of the beetles are coming out at once. The Japanese beetle, the Asiatic garden beetle, the June beetle, the rose chafer is out there right now, and every beetle that you can think of is now out there. So do protect your plants. If you had a problem in the past, I would do a preventative spray on them right now because, if you don't have them right now, they are coming. They're out there. I know there was a cat alert from MSU Extension talking about rose chafers. I guess there's a lot of people that have those, and they're the long, skinny, tannish beetle that has orange legs, usually found on roses, or they can be on your dahlias or almost any flower, and they'll just eat that flower right up. They're not a fun thing to use to get rid of, but they usually aren't in huge numbers like the Asiatic garden beetles, the Japanese beetles. It's usually just one or two, so you can usually easily pick them off. If you're a little squeamish about that, just tap the flower and you can tap the bug into a container that you can get rid of whatever you want to do. But they usually don't come in huge numbers, but just be on the alert for them. They usually only are out through the end of June, so they're almost at the end of their life cycle. But if you've got a lot of roses, you've probably seen these long, skinny, they're about an inch long, skinny with orange legs. Kind of a cute looking beetle, if a beetle can look cute. I kind of like the orange legs. It's kind of overkill for cuteness, but yes, they are kind of a nasty little thing because they do eat our flowers. So we don't want that. Japanese beetles, again, they like your roses. They love your rose of Sharon. They love most of the fruit trees out there. So be prepared if you got fruit trees out there. Your fruit tree spray. Remember, you don't just do it once and that's it. It's a kind of an ongoing thing during the summer. So do keep it sprayed so you keep those bugs off so you can enjoy the fruit and not them. It's just so disheartening to not have any fruit because, the beetles have just chewed all the little things all up. So, do get out there, do a preventative spray in the garden on those and keep a lookout for them. Prevention is always easier than trying to cure it once you've got it. So if you can prevent the bugs from coming in your garden, it's better than trying to treat it once they are there. Sometimes I get just so overwhelmed if the insects are so bad. I just pull out all the plants and I just say, forget it. You all are going to die. Insects and plants don't care, even though I dearly want them. But that's life. Sometimes that just happens. But if you can prevent it, you won't have that problem. Again, if your tomato plants or even your pepper plants are getting big, you may want to consider staking them or putting a cage around them. We've got some really cool cages. We've got square ones, we've got round ones, we've got ones that flatten out, we've got ones that you can just put in wherever you want. We've got all kinds of them. So just, take a look at them. It's easier just to put a cage around it so they kind of grow up that way. My mandevilla probably should have had a cage around it because that thing is going like nuts. It's sending out all these little feelers everywhere, driving me insane. Yeah, we're we're living with it. It's not a problem. It's once they start wrapping around my little geranium. I think it was trying to pull the geranium out of the plant. It's kind of fun. And this year I finally got my ginger was growing inside, and I got it to grow about 12 inches tall. I had 3 hands of ginger growing. And so I potted them in plants. And you got to keep them in the shade. And my deck is pretty sunny. And I didn't want to put it out in the middle of the lawn. Don't have a lot of shade. So I put it on my front porch. And then I saw a little chipmunk out there, and I shooed it away. And now I see where it's digging in my ginger pot, and it's pulling up my ginger plants. That little stinker, it's going to die now. It's dirt all over the front porch because of it. I don't know what he thought was fun about that, but he's going to die because I finally got them to grow. I was so excited. So I hope he hasn't done too much damage. But I didn't know that chipmunks loved ginger plants so well. Um, oh, I was so excited because this is the first year they've actually grown. I've had a couple of years in a row where I just have not been able to get them to grow. This year I could, and I was just imagining I was going to get all kinds of ginger and put it in the freezer again like I did one year. And nope, I don't know. Mr. Chipmunk seems to like it too. I didn't know that chipmunks were really that excited about ginger. Obviously, they are. So, on that note, we're going to go to the news, and we will be back with the garden show after that happens.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from De Bruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. Again, I'm going to remind you about the weather. It's hot outside. If you have a dog or cats that are outside, make sure they have plenty of cool drinking water and they have a spot in the shade. Don't leave a dog out in a run that has not a lick of shade. It needs shade and it needs lots and lots of water. I mean, even if you can put him inside for a while, that would be wonderful. But don't leave your pets outside. And honestly, folks, I was at the doctor the other day and this lady walks into the doctor's office. Now, come on, I'm coming out after an hour and a half. I know you don't just go in and come right back out. She's got her dog in the car and the dog is barking. Now you're going to come back to a dead dog in this kind of heat. Leave them at home. I know some animals have some anxiety issues. You're going to have to give them some meds if you have to leave. That is preferable to bringing them along with you in the car and leaving them in the car. Unless you can keep the engine going and the air conditioning on, they have no place being in a heated car or an unlocked or locked car. I don't care if you've got a window half down. You sit in there and see how long it takes before it gets really hot. I've had friends that have done this and cannot believe I was just in there for 5 minutes and the dog came back and the dog was dead. Well, if you've seen some of these dogs that get so hyper when you walk by their cars, those are the ones that are going to go quickest. But larger breeds don't do well. Don't keep them in the car. Please, please, please leave them at home or leave them with somebody. Don't leave them in a car. That's going to be my sermon for the day. We've got that up on the electronic board by De Bruyn's. Don't leave your dogs in the car right now. Don't take them inside De Bruyn's. Don't leave them in the car. If, on a leash, I don't mind. We don't mind if you bring your animal inside as long as it's well behaved. The store cat doesn't mind. But just make sure you've got a friendly enough animal and it's on a leash and, you're responsible for it. But it's better than keeping it in the car. Okay, and now with that, I'm still collecting aid for Puerto Rico. So if you've got any unused medications from your dog or cat or even from you, I will gladly take it and send it down to Puerto Rico. They love all the stuff that we send. I just talked to Katie down there, and she said every time we get your boxes, we all get together from like 5 different clinics, and they all, "Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that." She said it's really funny because by the time you've opened the last one, everything has been claimed. So thank you very much for all of your donations out there. I try to get it down there as quick as possible. I got to send another couple boxes this week. I got kind of behind when I was sick, so I will make up for that now because I think we're going to have a ton of boxes that need to go out. So yes, if you need to get something out, I think I'll probably do that Monday or Wednesday. I'm trying to think of what day I'm going to be in work. So yes, I still do take all that stuff. Um, Now, people keep asking, how do we keep a green lawn consistently all summer long? There's just a couple of little things. Keeping it fertilized, and it's best to use a fertilizer that's a long range fertilizer, not one that like triple 12 that releases all at once and you get, a week of sudden growth and green and then nothing. Um, if you're going to have a a bridal party in your backyard and really need a green urea, yes, get it green. This weather is not a good time to put that down because it will burn really quickly, but it will get it green right away. Or you can use one of Scott's products that has iron in it to help green it up right away. But keeping fertilizer down there, if you get really hot weather like we are, probably the only thing I would put down right now if you really had to fertilize would might be Milorganite or one of the organic fertilizers. Won't burn, but even with the 90-degree weather, I would be a little iffy about that even. It'd be better if you can spread it when it gets a little cooler out. Make sure you water consistently. Make sure your lawn gets at least an inch of water a week. If that means putting tin cans out all over the lawn and figuring out how much an inch is, do so. Because and every sprinkler is different. When you blow them out in the spring, they're usually not the same as they were the summer before. So do check that. See how much it takes to get an inch of water in a certain zone. Put out some cat food cans are perfect for that, or tuna fish cans. They're not very tall, so those work extremely well. And get to find out how much you really need to water. And again, doing it in the early morning hours before it can evaporate so it goes into the ground rather than up in the air, because we don't need it up in the air. We need it in the ground. And adjust the mowing height as the temperature increases. We increase the mowing height. As it goes down a little bit, we can go down. But if you keep it consistently 2.5 to 3 inches long, you can crowd out, you can shade out any weeds that might want to grow. So you get a better weed-free lawn when you keep it taller. So do keep it taller. If you get some insects, not everything can kill a lawn. Grubs can kill a lawn. Shinge bugs can kill a lawn. There are different things that can. Ants really don't. They just take advantage of a lawn. So stop them in their tracks. And, you know, I'll finish up with this thought after we go to this message.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. And we were talking about our lawns, how to keep them green consistently. And the big takeaway is make sure you keep them fertilized, you keep them watered. It's just kind of common sense, look for insects, stop them before they take a hold of your lawn. That works out the best. If you're always inundated with grubs, you know what? Put down the season-long grub control now, water it in, and you won't have that problem next spring. And we do have a caller on the phone. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Yes, good morning, Jan. I'm just wondering, my girlfriend gave me, I don't know how to say it. It's a PULMONARIA. And it was doing so good, but it was too close to my rose bush and it looked like it was really crowded. So I moved it and it died. So what did I do wrong? You're not supposed to move them?
They're really fussy. Yeah, he probably, or she, the pulmonaria, probably did not care to be moved. Once you get them in the ground, keep them there. And yeah,
Oh.
unfortunately, I'm,
So now is it supposed to be in the sun or is it supposed to be, in a part shade, part sun or what?
it
Because
would,
it was beautiful.
yeah, it doesn't really like the really hot afternoon sun. So part sun, part shade would probably be best for that plant.
Now, where would I be able to get another one? Because I'm looking for it, but I have not found it.
Oh, that's the one that you're probably going to have to go online if you really want it. And it's probably
Wow.
going to cost a
Yeah,
fortune. Yeah.
darn it. Yeah, I was so proud of it. It was so pretty, but it was so crowded and it looked like,
Yep.
I might be dying. So I took it out to put it in a better place and it didn't come back. So
Oh, yeah.
anyway,
That's a
but
problem when you do transplant, and that one's kind of a fussy little guy.
yeah. So is the LUPINE also? They don't like to be moved either? Lupine?
Lupines. Oh my goodness, they'll grow no matter where you put them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're
So
usually
I like
a
those too.
flower that we sell a lot of seeds of those to people with kids because they grow so well. So
Okay. All right. And those I have been able to find the seeds, but I thought, no, I better find out where they can be and what kind of, soil or what, because I don't want to be losing no more plants because I was so upset with my plants. So,
oh
all
yeah,
right.
I
Well,
would be
thank you.
too. Yeah, no, we have lupine seeds. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Mm.
Yeah,
You don't have the plant itself anymore? Because I
no, no,
think they're
just the
perennials,
seeds.
aren't they?
Yeah, they are
Oh,
perennials.
okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I'll have to stop there for those then. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep. Bye. Yeah, perennial flowers you can put in any time by seed up to about 8 weeks before frost, and we're not near 8 weeks before frost. At least I hope not. You never know. We go from 90-degree weather to 30-degree weather. I hope we don't do it that quickly. So we can still put in a perennial flower seed. It will come up. It may not bloom this year, but you do get it for next year. A lot of people put in wildflower gardens. They can put that in again anytime up to about 8 weeks before a frost. You can put in wildflower seeds. Probably the best time to do that is early spring. Get the area all ready the fall before, and then put the seed in early spring, so it gets a good early start before the weeds get control there. That usually works the best. So if you want to put in a plot of wildflowers, there's a little more work involved with wildflowers than people think. They think all they have to do is just scatter them, and it works. But MSU is helping some farmers if they've wanted to put in wildflower, take out take their fields out of commission and just plant some wildflowers for their bees. Now, this is quite a project for them to keep up the wildflowers and keep things blooming there. So it even they're finding it hard. So don't think that it's going to be a walk in the park, although it is pretty. You get some flowers blooming all different colors, different times of the year. It is a pretty sight. One of the prettiest ones I've seen though is our cut flower gardens. My goodness, those things just bloom like crazy, and it's all flowers that are meant to be cut and used inside. And I thought I I didn't think much of it when we first got the mixture, but I did a little bit of it, and it is glorious. So don't forget that one when if you want to put in just a little garden that you want to do some cut flowers for. Put that in first thing in the spring, and boy, by this time you're going to have lots of flowers that you can cut and make arrangements out of, or bring to friends, or just enjoy yourself, whatever you want to do with them. I think that's a great idea. So the cut flower mixture. Look for that at DeBrine's. We also have a bee and butterfly. We have a hummingbird mix. We have a shade mix. We have a sunny mix. We have a perennial. We have an annual. We have all kinds of mixes of wildflowers. So whatever kind of area you have, do be honest about what you've got. Do I have all sun or do I have a lot of shade? Um, it isn't easy to do wildflowers in the shade. They have a tendency um, to be to get not enough flowers on them. Well, I have been told that I need to quit talking, but I will remind you that I will be back Tuesday morning at 8:45 with Dan for the garden party. I can't do talk of the town. I have another doctor's appointment. Can't miss this one. But I will be back here next Saturday at 11:05 or around in there whenever we start. But I will be here then. So until then, go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from De Bruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.